Hello. Hi, welcome. I'm so glad to see everybody here. We have Davis Bates here. He's going to perform for us a Celtic Celebration. I think you're all going to enjoy it very much in honor of St. Patrick's Day coming up. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware, and I think that most people here have already heard me say this, but unfortunately, until further notice, the programming that we have that brings groups together, we're going to have to suspend for now, at least through the month of March and possibly longer depending on what's going on with this virus. And that is completely a precautionary situation. Nothing has ever, we don't have any reason other than the fact that we want to keep you all safe. So I wanted you to know that. Yes. Thank you so much. Enjoy, Davis.
Hi. How are you? You know my name now, Davis. Davis Bates. I'm a singer, a storyteller, so I'm actually going to do both of them. But my mother taught me when I was growing up that introductions are a two-way street. And I still do a lot of the things my mother taught me. In fact, she says I do more of them now than when she was trying to teach me. This is one of them. On the count of three, to save some time, you'll get to hear more songs and stories that way. On the count of three, so I know who everybody is, just say your name. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice to meet you. Now, I may not remember all those names. That's a lot to learn at once. You have to remind me later. Don't take it personally. But now that we know each other, I can give you some songs, give you some stories, and everything I give you, I'm not going to take back. You get to keep them and give them to somebody else. Stories are great that way. I got a lot of these stories, some from books, some from other people. When I've got it, if I share it with somebody, I still have it, they've got it, it goes on, they travel around like that. First, before I sing the first song, how many of you have Irish heritage? Just a little survey here. Wow, that's a higher percentage than last time. How many of you have Scottish heritage? Yep, some of you are double. Yeah. How many of you have neither, but maybe wish you did? Yeah, one. Yeah, I actually have Scottish heritage. So that's why this is a Celtic celebration. I don't feel comfortable doing an entirely Irish program because nobody from my family came from Ireland, although I was supposed to be born on St. Patrick's Day, according to my mom. That was my due date. But my mother discovered that I was going to be late. I started off with when I was born, and I kept being late until I had kids. And for some reason, I discovered how to be on time when I had kids. I have no idea how that worked. So on April 1st, I still wasn't born yet, and she was kind of tired of carrying me around. So she did what a lot of women do when they're in that situation. I was going to be her first kid. I was also going to be the first grandchild. She called her mom. That's what you do when you want to know things. Sometimes you call your mom. So she called and said, look, I want to get this guy out of, what can I do? And her mom, my grandmother, said, go bowling. Now, it has to be the big balls, not the candle pins. That's a great fun game, but the balls aren't big enough to induce labor. So she and my dad, on the night of April 3rd, went bowling after supper, and she went into labor. And I was born on April 4th. Yeah, so it's true. If anybody you know is overdue, you can tell them to go bowling. My family, though, coming from Scotland, did what a lot of families did from Ireland also. They came over into Canada, to St. John's, and then traveled down into New England. The English have been trying to get the Scottish and Irish out of both countries for a long period of time, and when they kicked some of them out, they came over to Canada and New York and Boston. And when they came, sometimes if they were lucky, they could bring some luggage. Sometimes if they weren't, they couldn't bring very much. But they could always bring songs and stories, because those are very easy to pack. And this song actually is going to be an introduction to a story that came from Ireland. The song actually came from Yorkshire, England, but you'll find it's very similar to the story from Ireland. Plus, even though it's from England, it's got a great chorus that's easy to learn, and it's a good way to start off singing. I'll teach you the chorus. It goes like this. Fal de lalde, Yeah, that's it. It's very short, but it makes no sense, but it's easy to remember. So on the count of three, we're going to do that together. And this is folk music, so don't take it too seriously. You don't have to worry about the notes too much. Ready? Here we go on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Fal-de-lal-day. Good, you got it. And you'll know when to sing the chorus because the last two words of every verse where the story is and sing. So it won't take you by surprise. You'll know exactly what to do and when. All right, here's the story. There was a rich farmer in Yorkshire did dwell, had Jack for a servant, and that you know well. The cows being gathered, he had one to spare. He said, Johnny, me boy, you must go to the fair and sing Fal-de-lal-day. Well, in through the glare and out through the glen, Jack led the cow with a rope in his hand. And on his way there he came to 3 men, and he sold them the cow for 16 pounds 10 and sing Fal-de-lal-day. Came to an old woman, to her he did say, where shall I put all this money away? Into your coat lining, to him she did say, in case on the road some robber may be, and sing Fal-de-lal-day. Well, on his way home he came to a dark lane. Out jumped a robber, I'll tell you in plain. Deliver your money without any strife, or with this flat sword I'll take your sweet life, and sing Fal-de-lal-day. Well, he ripped open the lining and the money fell out. All in the tall grass it lay scattered about. And while the robber was picking it up in his purse, Jack made no delay, but jumped on the robber's horse and sing Fal-de-lal-day. Well, the robber he called out, he bade Jack to stay. Jack made no answer, just rode on his way. Straight home to his master's own house he did go, with a bridle and saddle instead of a cow, and sing Fal-de-lal-day. Well, the farmer came out all in a great fuss. He said, Johnny, me boy, me cow's turned into a horse. Oh, master, your cow I have sold, but I have been robbed of your silver and gold, and sing Fal-de-lal-day. Well, they looked in the saddle, and lo and behold, 5,000 pounds of silver and gold, besides 2 brass pistols, and the farmer did vow, he said, Johnny, me boy, you've well sold me cow, and sing Fal-de-lal-day. And now for your brave and honorable day, half of this money will come to your pay. Besides, if she'll have you, my daughter, for a wife, and you shall live well all the days of your life, and sing Fal-de-lal-day. That's the well-sold cow. And I like to think that Jack and the farmer's daughter saw through the plan to keep all the money in the family. And they liked each other okay, but maybe not that much. So he took his half of the money and went down the road a ways and got himself a place. You can do that with stories, you know. If you're telling the story and you don't like the ending, you get to change it. Yep. Or if you want to know what happens next and nobody ever told you, you get to make it up. That's all right. Because stories change as they go back and forth. Sometimes it's a memory thing. You forget what happens next, so you make it up. Sometimes you intentionally change it. I don't know which version of this story came first, the song I just sang to you or the Irish version I'm about to tell. The Irish one I heard actually when I went to Hampshire College. They had a thing called the 5 College Folk Festival. They're lucky enough to have 5 colleges very close together, and part of it happened at Mount Holyoke. So I went over there because there were some storytellers, an Irish storytelling session, it was called, in one of the dorm living rooms at Mount Holyoke. They had these really great living rooms in the dorm, big fireplace, and they were sitting on chairs. And Maggie Pearce, who came over from outside of Dublin to North Dartmouth, Mass., a couple of the Clancy brothers, and 2 women who were in a band, and they were sitting there, and they just kept swapping stories. They'd interrupt each other. No, that's not how it went. And that reminds me of, and they were like sitting around in a living room, and almost like they didn't have an audience. They were their own audience. And she told this story about a wee fella, my lad. And when she told the story, she said, I don't know his name. Like in that last song, his name was Jack. And this one, he didn't have a name. She said, the person who told me this story didn't give him a name, just called him the wee fella. So that's what I call him. He was a wee fella. And he had a family, that had a lot of kids. And sometimes they lived on a farm. And sometimes when you're in a farm with a lot of kids, even though you're growing food, there's not quite enough food for all the kids. And when that happened, they'd find a farmer and a family not too far away that didn't have any kids. And they say, you want some help on the farm? And 1 or 2 of the kids would go to that farm, and then there'd be food. So that's what happened to the wee fella. He went to this farm, family, no kids. He was their only kid now, helping out on the farm. They fed him pretty good. And they're sitting around dinner one night, and the farmer said, I'm owed some money by a man in town. And he was, actually. A man in town owed him 20 gold pieces. But you see, the problem with going to get the money is it was a good day's walk. Half a day there and half a day back. Plus, part way there, about halfway there was a pretty big woods. And in the woods, they lived the highwaymen who stole money from people. That's how he made his living. And the farmer thought, well, at least if the man in town has it, I'm still owed it, and I can pretend I'm going to get it someday. But if I go get it and walk back and the highwayman takes away from me, I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to be able to pretend I will. So it's better that he keep it. And as he was explaining this, the wee fellow looked up and said, I could go get that money for you. I could? Aye. You aren't afraid of the highwayman? Oh, no, I'm not afraid of a highwayman. Why not? Well, I'm just a wee fella. You won't think I have any money. We fellas like me, we don't have any money. I'll just walk to town. I'll get the money. I'll walk back. If I run into him, I'll say hi. He'll say hi, and I'll say bye. And I'll be home. You sure? Yes, I'll go get the money tomorrow. And that's what the wee fella did. The next morning, he just started off walking. And it was a nice day, sun shining, the birds singing, and he was whistling, and he got to the woods, and he was about halfway in the woods when out of the trees on a big gray horse there came a man. He was all dressed in red, except his shirt. His shirt was white with those ruffles on the front. You seen them, and red pants, red jacket, red hat with a white feathered plume. He had a sword on one side, a pistol on the other, and he was right in the middle of the road looking down at the wee fella, and he said, "Oh, wee fella, where are you going?" And the wee fella said, "Oh, I'm going to town." What you going to town for? "Oh, there's a man in town. He owes the farmer I work for some money, and I'm going to get it for him." "You are?" "Yeah, he's owed 20 gold pieces." "Oh, that's all right. Good bit of money." Yeah. But you aren't afraid of the highwayman?" "Oh, no, I'm not afraid of the highwayman. I'm just a wee fella. He won't think I have any money. I'll go there, I'll get the money, I'll come back, I'll wave hi, and I'll be home in no time at all." "You're a right brave lad. I'm impressed with you. I'm so impressed with you. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. When you're on your way home, I'm going to meet you here, and I'll help you take care of that money. What do you think of that?" "Oh, that's right nice of you." "Yes, it is. I'll see you on your way back." And the wee fella, he walked off. He was still whistling, got to town, found the man who owed the farmer the money. He got the 20 gold pieces, and they weren't very big, It doesn't take much gold to make a good bit of money in a gold piece, and they fit in the palm of one hand. The 20 gold pieces, he's looking at them, the wee fella, and he looks and he says, "That's a right pretty picture. 20 gold pieces, but it's only one color. I like two colors better than one." And he shifted the coins into the other hand. He picked out one of them. He held it out to the man who'd given him the money. He said, "Could you give me some silver pieces for this gold one?" The man said, "I could, but why should I do that?" "Well, then I'll have two colors. It's going to be more to carry. It'll fit in both my pockets. It'll be right nice to have gold and silver." And that's what the man did. He got him 20 silver pieces, exchanged them for the gold one. And now the wee fella had them in his hands, the gold and the silver. He was pouring them back and forth into his hands. "Oh, that's nice. They sound good. They look good, but it's only two colors. 3 colors would be better." And he took a silver piece. He held it out. "Could you give me a sack of copper pennies for this silver coin?" The man said, "You can't put that in your pockets. You're going to have to carry it over your shoulder." "Oh, that's okay. I don't mind. As long as I have 3 colors, I'll be happy." And that's what the man did. Took the silver piece, gave him the copper coins in the bag. He slung it over his shoulder, put the coins in his pockets, and he was on his way home. And then he whistling again, off into the woods. Halfway through the woods, out of the trees came that same man, dressed all the same. He had on the red jacket, the red pants, the ruffled shirt, the hat, the plume, his sword, and his pistol, but now he was wearing a mask. And he looked down at the wee fella and said, "I'm a man of my word. I told you I'd meet you here to help you take care of that money. But if I'm going to take care of it, you got to give it to me. So now give me the money." The wee fella looked up and said, "You're the highwayman." "Yes, I'm the highwayman. I'm very impressed with you, but I'm more impressed with that money. Give it to me." "If you want this money, you're going to have to work for it," said the wee fella. And he took the bag and swung it around his head, and then he threw it into the trees. It disappeared into the trees. You could hear it hitting the ground, the coins clattering, following out of the bag. And the highwayman looked down at the wee fella and said, "Never let it be said I was too proud to work for my money." And he got off the horse. And he started in the trees after the coins. And as soon as he was disappeared in the trees, the wee fella, he jumped up on that horse and he gave it a kick. And that horse took off. It was fast, clattering down the road. And the highwayman came out, saw the horse disappear and took out his gun and shot. But by then the horse was gone because it was fast. In no time at all, the wee fellow was clattering, galloping into the farmyard. The farmer came out and said, "What you got a horse for?" "I sent you for some money." "Where'd the horse come from?" And the wee fella, he jumped off the horse and he told the farmer what had happened. And he gave him the money. He said, "Well, I've only got 19 gold pieces and 19 silver ones. The copper pennies worth, the one silver ones are gone. But most of the money's here." And the farmer said, "Thank you." And they looked in the saddlebag on that horse, And they found 35 gold pieces and 120 silver pieces and a whole bunch of jewelry. And the farmer, he looked down at the wee fella and said, "That's all right bit of money you brought me. Tell you what, you did all the work for it. You should take at least half of the money. Take half of the money." And he gave it to the wee fella. He put it in a bag and he brought it home. Because having all that money, they could put an addition on the house. There'd be more room for all the kids. There's plenty of money for food. And that's the story of the wee fella. That's it. It's so much fun to have two versions of a story, from two different places. Again, I don't know which ones came first. When people came to this country from Ireland, it's happened over the years with different groups of people when they come, You've heard of the signs that were put in the windows, "No Irish need apply," right? Yeah, well, it's happened to a bunch of different peoples over the time, speaking different languages from different countries. They first get here, folks don't want them to work for them. And so often they'll get manual labor. It'll be the first thing that they'll get. Digging ditches was a common thing, or cleaning houses or so. And there's a song that comes from one of the first things the Irish folks did when they came to this country. The potato famine, right? Well, the English have been trying to get the Irish out of Ireland for a really long time, and then the potato famine came in the 1800s, where the blight hit and the potatoes died and there wasn't much food. And so they heard the streets in this country were paved with gold, and they came over and they started building railroads. Now, my dad used to sing me this song at bedtime. When I was a kid growing up, my bedtime was 7:30. That's when I was supposed to have the bath, and get in pajamas by 7:30 and then get into bed. And then my mom or my dad would read to us for a half an hour, the Wizard of Oz books, which came from my dad's side of the family, or the Winnie the Pooh books, which came from my mom's side of the family. The lights would go out, and my dad would sing, and this was one of my favorite songs. I loved this song the first 1,000 times I heard it. The second 1,000, it was kind of okay. And then I grew up and I hardly ever sang it at all. And then I learned how to play these. You ever seen these? Oh, good. You have any at home? Okay. I'm going to give you a short lesson on how to play music with spoons. You don't have to take any notes. There are YouTube videos about this in case you forget. First, you use flat handle spoons. The round handle ones are very pretty, but they don't work very well for this. You put one spoon between your thumb and your first finger like this. The next spoon goes between your first and second finger like that. You see how they form a long V? You tuck the V, the point of it, into the palm of your hand. Every spoon is different. You have to move them around a little bit, but you close your fist around them, so you hold them like that. The bottom three fingers are a ledge. The pointer is a wedge. The thumb straight along the top. Keeps it all together. Then you need your knee for this, which is one of the reasons I brought this stool. I had my knee. I just didn't have access to it without the stool. And then you tap the spoons on your knee like this. Or your hand. You get different sounds depending on what part of your body you tap them on. You can put your hand up above your knee, go back and forth. Run them across your fingers like this. Sort of the Lone Ranger effect, which kind of dates me a little bit. And then you can combine the different movements and sounds, and you can play music with spoons. And different spoons have different sounds. These spoons are kind of cool. I get excited about weird things. Hampshire College, where I went to school, they're really into composting now. So I went to a reunion a couple years ago, and they had these great spoons that are compostable because they're made out of corn oil. and they have a really cool sound. I'm going to have to move the microphone down to them because they're softer than those spoons I just used. Stay. Isn't that cool? Yeah, just a pair of plastic spoons. And the petroleum ones, actually at a 4th of July picnic about 15 years ago, I got a red spoon and a blue spoon. They're made out of petroleum. And the ones that are made out of petroleum, after a while they get fatigued, like a lot of people. And then eventually they get so fatigued they crack, like some people, and a piece will fly off. And then you just got to go get another pair of spoons. But these, no evidence of a crack yet, which is cool. These are the ones I'm going to use in this song because it is a work song. And this song, besides being sung by my dad, was sung by Irish American, African American, Japanese American, Chinese American, Italian American, and a whole bunch of other American railroad workers. They'd be working out in the hot sun with 16-pound sledgehammers. They had these huge spikes that they'd be nailing to hold the tracks together. And they would start to sing because they were getting kind of bored. They'd sing, I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. Now that's how fast they sang because they didn't want to get tired. My dad sang it faster than that at bedtime because he wanted me to get tired. We had a tradition of rowdy songs for like 15, 20 minutes, and then the songs just started to get slower and slower and slower, and hopefully our eyelids would droop enough so we'd go to sleep when he left the room. We're going to sing at the speed my dad sang it. I'll play the spoons. You know how it goes. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away. Can't you hear the whistle blowing? Rise up so early in the morn. Can't you hear the captain shouting? Dinah, blow your horn. Go a little faster, right? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Let's whisper. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Ouch. Strumming on the old banjo and singing fee-fi, fiddly-I-o. Fee-fi, fiddly-I-o. Fee-fi, fiddly-I-o. Strumming on the old banjo. That's it. And if you're having trouble holding the spoons just right, or if you're teaching a kid how to do it, like grandkid or neighbor kid or something, and their hands are too small, you can take a pair of spoons and you can put like a wedge in between them that's not your finger, like a rolled up piece of cardboard or a little bit of clay or whatever. Sculpey works, a little chunk of wood. Then you take duct tape. It's another great use for duct tape besides repairing cars. I had a red Subaru that got by for 2 years on inspection with strategically placed red duct tape. They make color duct tape now, which is kind of cool. You can wrap the duct tape around the spoons, and then the tape and the wedge will hold them in the right place. And you can just hold them in one hand. And there's another song I'm going to sing that the spoons are good for. If you were in Ireland in the 1850s and the potato famine hit and you had a fiddle, you were a fiddle player, you were in luck. Because you could sell your fiddle. You could sell your fiddle and get enough money to get a ticket over to New York, Boston, St. John's, and while on board ship, you maybe stuck a pair of spoons in your back pocket. And you still knew all the fiddle tunes, right? You hadn't sold those. So on board ship, if it was a fairly calm day, you might even have a dance on deck with you singing the fiddle tunes called mouth music, you know, bum bum be da dum bum bum yum da dee da dum dum dum, and you'd play the spoons, and folks would dance. And it got so that, you know, you get tired of singing the nonsense lyrics, the mouth music, and sometimes they would actually make lyrics to go with a fiddle tune that hadn't been there before. And I think that's what happened with this song. This song, and doing research about this song, I came upon different things about it, different bands singing it. And if it was a Scottish band, they said it was from Scotland. If it was an Irish band, they said it was from Ireland. So I figure you get to say wherever you want it to be from when you sing it. It's a more complicated chorus than the last one I taught you. So I'm going to teach you it in stages. The chorus has 4 lines. So what we'll do is I'll sing a line and then I'll repeat it and you can sing it with me. Then I'll sing the next line and we'll repeat it together. And we'll learn the chorus that way. And then I'll sing the verses because I know them. It's only fair. Here's the chorus. Mary Mac's mother making Mary Mac marry me. Try that. Mary Mac's mother making Mary Mac marry me. The next part goes, my mother's making me Mary, Mary Mac. My mother's making me Mary, Mary Mac. Next line, you can tell this is an old song from the next line. So I'll have to marry Mary to get Mary to take care of me. So I'll have to marry Mary to get Mary to take care of me. We'll all be making merry when I marry Mary Mac. Try that. We'll all be making merry when I marry Mary Mac. Good, you got it. So we'll do this chorus 4 times because there's 4 verses. The first 2 times we'll do it just the way we did it, call and response. By then you'll have learned it enough so we can just go straight through. All right? The 3rd time and the 4th time. I will warn you, though, that as we get going along, we're going to go a wee bit faster each time because it is a tongue twister. And when we get to the end, we're going to do it after you've done it enough so you can do it. We're going to do it totally up tempo. All right? Now, if you get to the point where your tongue is having trouble like moving around in your mouth and your lips are having trouble forming the words, it's okay to do this. You can go, mama, 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 mama. You may have noticed there's a lot of M's in the chorus. You'll be right a certain percentage of the time, which is fine, all right? But for now, we'll do it the safe, slow learning speed. Here's the first verse where the story is. There's a nice wee lass and her name it is Mary Mac, make no mistake, she's the one I'm gonna take. A lot of other fellas wanna get up on her track, but if they do, they're gonna have to get up early. Now, we're not gonna go that fast. I'm gonna slow it down, ready? And you can sing it twice if you want to get extra practice, each line, right? Mary Mac's mother making Mary Mac marry me. Mary Mac's mother making Mary Mac marry me. My mother's making me Mary, Mary Mac. My mother's making me Mary, Mary Mac. I'll have to marry Mary to get Mary to take care of me. That's the hardest line. You may have noticed I slowed it down a little bit. So I'll have to marry Mary to get Mary to take care of me. We'll all be making merry when I marry Mary Mac. We'll all be making merry when I marry Mary Mac. Good. Here's the 2nd verse. Now Mary and her mother go an awful lot together. In fact, you hardly ever see the one without the other. Folks often wonder whether it's Mary or her mother or both of them together that I'm courting. Now a wee bit faster, but not that fast, right? Mary Mac's mother making Mary Mac marry me. Mary Mac's mother making Mary Mac marry me. My mother's making me Mary, Mary Mac. My mother's making me Mary, Mary Mac. I'll have to marry Mary to get Mary to take care of me. I'll have to marry Mary to get Mary to take care of me. We'll all be making merry when I marry Mary Mac. We'll all be making merry when I marry Mary Mac. Good. I think you're ready to go straight through the next time. You can do it. You can do it. All right. Again, this is not serious stuff. 3rd verse. It's sure to be a grand affair. We're going to have a coach and pair for every pair that's there. We'll dine upon the finest fare. I'm sure to get my share, and if I don't, then I am very much mistaken. All right, straight through, not as fast as that, but still fast, and we've done it before. Mary Mac's mother making Mary Mac marry me. My mother's making me Mary, Mary Mac. I'll have to marry Mary to get Mary to take care of me. We'll all be making merry when I marry Mary Mac. Good. Last verse. The wedding is on Wednesday and everything's arranged. Their name will soon be changed to mine unless mine be changed. Making the arrangements. I'm just about deranged. For marriage is an awful undertaking. Not the last time, but next to last time. Straight through a wee bit faster. Here we go. Mary Mac's mother making Mary Mac marry me. My mother's making me Mary, Mary Mac. I'll have to marry Mary to get Mary to take care of me. We'll all be making merry when I marry Mary Mac. Good, you're keeping up so far. Some of you are mums, but that's fine. All right, up tempo, last time, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mary Mac's mother making Mary Mac marry me, and my mother's making me marry Mary Mac. I'll have to marry Mary to get married to take care of me. Well, I'll be making Mary when I marry Mary Mac. Good job. That was good. Now, speaking of dancing, I actually found this story a really long time ago in a book that I got when I was at Hampshire College called Tatterhood, which is folk tales about strong women characters. And there was this story in the book, and it's about goblins. You see in Ireland and Scotland and Cornwall and places like that where they speak Gaelic, goblins aren't called goblins. They're called pukas. And depending on where you are, it's spelled P-O-O-K-A or P-U-K-K-H-A or P-U-K-H-A. But however you spell it, it's pronounced puka. And there's two kinds of pukas. There's pukadu. Now, that's spelled D-H-U. If pukadu is in this room standing, his head would probably be through the ceiling. He's that high. And he has 10 long fingers on each hand with claws instead of fingernails. So folks say, and he's only out at night, folks say you really don't want to meet up with him at night at all. He's got a very bad reputation. But the other puka Guiden, he's no bigger than you or me. And he's the sort of puka who plays tricks like this. He'll hide my glasses on me, you know. And I've gotten to the stage where I have to take my glasses off to read at night, so they're usually, you know, I put them next to my light on the bed, I read and I go to sleep, and I get up and they're not there. You know, I thought I put them there, and so I go look next to the sink, 'cause maybe I took them off to wash my face before, but no, they're not there either. I go downstairs and look next to the computer, because I also have to take my glasses off to look at the computer. They're not there either. I'm going all over the house looking for them. You know where I finally find them? They're on my face. I'd put them on already, and I didn't realize it. You know, he put them on there. Or you're looking for a library book. You know it's due, right? You read it about a week ago, but you know it's due, and you look where the last place you read it, but it's not there. You look in the kitchen, it's not there. You look out in the car, maybe you put it in the car to get ready to go. It's not there. You keep going all around, and you look. The first place you look, that's where you find it, and you swear it wasn't there the first time. He's the one who put it there while you weren't looking. And now that you know about the pukas, I can tell you about the old woman. Because the story's about her too. There once was an old woman who loved to dance. If there was a dance going on, it took her so long to get the dance, she could only do one dance and then she'd have to come home. She'd still go. She loved dancing that much. And no matter how many dances she'd done, whether it was 1 or 20, she'd be so happy from dancing, she would come home and she would sing at the top of her lungs because she was so happy from dancing, and she'd wake up all the neighbors. And the neighbors were tired of getting woken up in the middle of the night. And they said to the son and daughter-in-law who she lived with, will you keep the old woman at home? Don't let her go to dances. She's waking us up. We're going to work tired every day. And they tried, but she was always slipping out the back door before they could lock it. Or one time she actually climbed out a second-story window, jumped into a tree, shinnied down the tree, and went off to a dance. And they couldn't lock her in, so they decided to play a trick on her. The son came up with the idea. He said, look, next time she wants to go to a dance, we'll just let her go. And then we'll take one of our old sheets, the biggest one we can find. We'll put it over my head, and we'll tie a belt around my waist to keep the sheet from flying off. And then you lead me, because I won't be able to see with that sheet over my head. Lead me right to the bush the old woman comes by on the way home. And you leave me there, I'll wait. You go home, and I'll wait for her. I'll hear her coming, because she's always singing. When she's right next to the bush, I'll jump out, and I'll wave my arms, and I'll say, I'm Pukadu, and I've come to get you. And she'll be so scared. She'll run home. She won't want to go at night ever again. She'll never go to any more dances. Our problems will be solved. They thought it was a great idea. Next night, they just waved goodbye. Have a good time. The woman scratched her head. She was going to have fun. She was going to dance. And they got busy. Got the biggest sheet they could find, put it over the son's head, tied the belt around his waist to keep the sheet from flying off. The wife led him, because he couldn't see, right to the bush, left him there. She went home. He waited, and he waited, and he waited. And it was one of those nights, you know, where the wind is kind of playing tricks with the trees and the leaves and the branches. And when you can see, it's not quite as bad as when you can't. And the sounds were kind of getting under his skin. He was getting a little scared, and he heard an owl hooting in the distance. Woo, 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 woo. Woo, woo, woo. He said, what's that? It's an owl. I'm not supposed to be scared. And then the wind brushed the bush up against his back. He said, what's that? It's just the bush. I'm not supposed to be scared. I'm supposed to scare my mother. But he was scared. He was just about ready to give up the trick and go home. And that's when he heard his mother singing in the distance. And what she was singing was this. Pookadoo, me and you, walking along, singing a song, pookadoo. He said, oh no, Pookadoo's with her, I better get out of here. And he got up and actually took a couple steps. He said, wait, if Pookadoo was with her, she wouldn't be singing. She'd be running, screaming. Oh, she's making up one of her own silly songs. I'll scare her for real. He felt his way back to the bush, hid himself down in it. His mother got closer and closer to the bush, and the singing got closer and closer with her until both were right next to the bush. And then he jumped out, and he waved his arms and said, I'm Pookadoo, and I've come to get you. And she took one look at him and said, no, you're not. Pookadoo's around a corner back there. He stopped to tie a shoelace or something. Oh, I know who you are. You're the little Pooka. Pooka, we done playing tricks. Well, you better get out of here. If the big one comes around the corner and sees you, he'll tear you limb from limb. Look out, here he comes now. Well, the son couldn't see, right? He had that sheet over his head. For all he knew, Pookadoo was standing right there. He turned, ran as fast as he could, straight into a tree, bam, and he fell flat on his back. She said, it's not time for a nap. Get up, he's almost got you. He got up and he ran. He tripped over a stone, somersaulted through a puddle, up on the other side, boom, into another tree, back down. She said, it's not time for gymnastics either. Get up, he's almost got you. He got up and he ran right through a briar patch. He thought the thorns were Pookadoo's claws tearing at him. He ran even faster, bumping into more trees, tripping over more stones all the time. The old woman's voice ringing in his ears going, run, run, Pookagweedan, catch him, Pookadoo. I want to see the two of you run. He finally got home. He was all bruised and battered, his clothes in tatters. His wife helped him inside, got him into some clean clothes, and sat him in his favorite chair by the fire, got him something warm to drink, and he was just beginning to get his breath back when who should come into the house but his mother. And she said, son, daughter-in-law, you wouldn't believe the time I had. I went to this great dance, best dance I've been to in years. I was coming home when who should I meet up with but Pookadoo, the big Pooka. And he's really a very nice fellow. I don't know where he got his reputation. He knows a lot of great jokes and songs. We're having a great time singing. When who should we meet up with but the little Pooka, Pookagweedan. And the big one set off and chased the little one. And a merrier chase I never did see. Now, you know, I can't tell you. Pookadoo, I can't tell you what he was dressed in. The big fella, I don't remember at all. But the little Pooka, Pookagweedan, he was wearing one of our sheets. And he had boots on which looked just like yours. They couldn't trick her. And they decided if they weren't going to be able to trick her, they may as well join her. So the next time there was a dance, the three of them went. And they had a great time. The son, daughter-in-law, they hadn't been dancing in years. They had so much fun. They came home singing at the top of their lungs, three-part harmony, woke up all the neighbors. The neighbors said, now it's three of them. We'll never get any sleep. Well, maybe we should go dancing. Next time there was a dance, the whole neighborhood went. When they came home singing at the top of their lungs, there was nobody left to wake up. And ever since then, that neighborhood, whether it's in Ireland, Cornwall, or Scotland, has been known as the singing and dancing neighborhood. All because of Pookadoo, Pookagweedan, and the old woman. That's the story. Now, a couple songs on this story. This song I like a lot because, nowadays with the internet, if you want to find Irish folk song lyrics, you just type in Irish folk song lyrics in a search and boom, you get all these websites going down. You click on one and there'll be a list. Like on this one I found, there was 151 titles, all running down, all highlighted. And if I looked at a title and I thought, maybe I know that song, I could click on it. Because they didn't have the tunes, they just had the lyrics. So I had to at least have a melody to go with them. And I was going through search and I saw this title and I thought, oh wait, I know that song. And I clicked on it and the lyrics came up. I didn't have to learn it. I never sung this song before. But my dad used to sing it to me at bedtime. It was part of the slow section when he was trying to get us sleepy. And I had every single, except for the last verse, which I'm sure he did not sing, and I'll explain why later. I did have to learn that. But everything else I knew already. I could sing it straight through without even practicing it. And I bet you could sing it with me. You probably know this song. It goes like this. In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, it was there that I first met sweet Molly Malone. She wheeled her wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. And then the chorus, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, 'cause so were her mother and father before. They wheeled their wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She died of a fever, and no one could save her, and that was the end of my Molly Malone. Now her ghost wheels the barrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Last time. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. Nice singing, thank you. Thanks a lot. There's another Irish tradition that I brought with me, and I'll show it to you really quick. We're not going to sing a song with him. He's been sleeping over here this whole time. He sleeps a lot. It's a dog. You probably knew that. When little kids, I was just in a school in Long Island, first graders, and I do this assembly, and I go into the classrooms for a half an hour each and visit, and they say, "Is he a real dog?" I say, "Yes." Because he actually is a real dog. He's just a real wooden dog, right? They're cheaper, no vet bills. They don't eat very much. And this has its roots in Ireland, Scotland. Like a lot of these folk traditions, you're never sure who actually made it up because it's so far back, and you can trace them through newspaper articles sometimes, or folk, oral traditions. And originally they started, street musicians, buskers, right? They would be performing on the side of the street, playing whether it's mandolin or whatever, fiddle maybe, and they would have a jig doll, they called it. It's like a marionette puppet, about that size, only instead of working it with two like wooden X's with strings attached, you had strings going up to two pulleys, and then going back along a board to one pulley, and then down to a pedal where they were attached to the pedal. And as the musician played, they would put their foot on the beat to the pedal, and the strings would make the jig doll dance, move up and down. And then, that was in the 1700s, then they started making them smaller out of little pieces of wood and putting legs on them. I'm going to show you what it would look like. I don't have one of the man or woman limberjacks, but it would stand like this on the board, and then you so yeah, it does a rhythm. And then when they came to this country, down to the southern part of the Appalachians, the Scottish and Irish folks started making limberjacks in the shape of animals, because kids would be lined up on the side of a dance hall. This is actually to make a good dance hall. And they would, some of them would be dancing, but more of them would either be playing spoons, or they'd have a limberjack, as it's called. And they made them in the shape of animals for the kids, because kids like animals. Plus, with 4 legs, they make more noise. You may have noticed that kids like things that make more noise, yeah. So this is what it looks like when he dances. And he can actually dance pretty fancy. And I was, not this year, but last year, there was a first grader who asked the question. First graders, you may have noticed, have no filters sometimes. Yes. Yeah, and this was his question. He looked at me very seriously and said, "Can he dance on his butt?" So I said, "I don't know. Let's see." He can, but not very well. And, it's really fun with like 3-year-olds. I go to libraries sometimes and I'll do it. And we sing the song Bingo, of course, because it's his favorite song. It's about him. And we do the clapping and he does fancy dancing. And at the end, he gets tired and he falls asleep. Right? And so we have to sing him a lullaby. But a 3-year-old, a lot of them, they think he's actually real. Not a wooden dog, a real dog. So they'll come up and they'll want to pet Bingo afterwards. Can I pet Bingo? And they'll pet him. And I tell them he lives in my briefcase. So he needs to go back in the briefcase to go home. And they say, can I put him to sleep in the briefcase? And they'll take him and they'll hold Bingo, this little wooden piece of doll, and they'll hold it like it's made out of glass. And they'll very carefully put him in the briefcase and then pet him and go, night, night, Bingo. And that's the kind of magic you can't buy. And all it is like 5, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces of wood, scraps of leather. And when you don't have much money, which you often didn't in some of these cultures, you could make things to have fun with like that. Now, time for one last song and one last story. This song, if you didn't have a fiddle and you wanted to come to this country, sometimes you hired out on a boat. There was a boat that needed an extra crew member to come over. So you'd hire out on the boat. You'd come over into either New York or Boston or St. John's, and you'd jump ship. And you'd get over here that way. A guy in Long Island a few years ago told me his great-great-grandfather came here on a boat from Ireland, and in the middle of New York Harbor, one night jumped off the boat and swam to Staten Island. And that's how his great-great-grandfather got here. But sometimes, if you're on a boat, you actually liked being on the boat, and you decided not to jump ship because you either had a good captain or a good crew, or you just like sailing or something. So there's a whole bunch of work songs on board ships that have Irish roots to them. And this is one of them. It's a sea shanty used for hauling up sails. I'm going to teach you the line, the chorus, and conveniently, the chorus is sung twice, and it's the same line each time, so you won't have to work too hard to get it. The way it was as a shanty man usually, because there weren't many women on the boats then, but now there are. You have shanty women these days. They would sing a line, and then the whole crew would sing together as they hauled on the sail. And then shanty man would sing a line, whole crew sing. So that's how we're going to go through it. This is a line we all sing together. I won't let you hang out there by yourselves. I'll sing it with you. The chorus goes like this. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Yeah, that's it. And we can give it, like, we can pretend we're working, which is a fun thing to do. Pretend to be working on the line, Joe. Give it a little more emphasis, as if you were doing something. And you are, actually. You're singing, which is fine. So let's try that again with a little emphasis on Joe, and then we'll do it. Ready? Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. That's it, all right? So we'll do it that way. I'll sing a line, we'll sing that line, I'll sing a line, we'll sing a line until the song's done, because then there won't be anything else to do with the song anyway. Okay. When I was a little lad or so, my mother told me, way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. That if I did not kiss with joy, my lips would all grow moldy. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Once I lived in Ireland, a-digging dirt and potatoes. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. But now I'm on a Yankee ship, a-hauling sheets and braces. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Once I knew a Yankee girl, she was pretty lazy. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. But now I know an Irish girl, she nearly drives me crazy. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. King Louis was the king of France before the Revolution. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. But then he got his head cut off, which spoiled his constitution. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way haul away, we'll haul away together. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. Way haul away, we'll haul for better weather. Way haul away, we'll haul away, Joe. That's it. Nice singing. Nice singing. No, my dad actually worked on boats. He learned some songs, not that one, when he was working on boats. They tend to be more ballad kind of songs because they'd be sung in the forecastle. Uh, when my dad was younger, maybe just before teenager, his mom and dad decided they knew somebody up in New Harbor. It was a great place to go and stay and go on vacation. And they liked it so much, New Harbor, Maine. They liked it so much that when my grandfather retired, and he actually never really retired, he sold barbecue machines. You know, those ones you see in the store with the rotisserie chicken going around waiting for you to take it home? He sold those machines. And he sold them originally like in New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New England, then just New England, then just Massachusetts and Maine and New Hampshire, and then just New Hampshire and Maine when he moved up to Maine, kind of retired, and then just Maine, and then just the county he lived in, and then just New Harbor and Monhegan Island. He'd go up to Riley's store in New Harbor once a year and say to Reggie, who ran it, Reggie, you need a new barbecue machine? He'd say, no, not yet. Then he'd come back the next year and say, Reggie, you need a new barbecue machine. And every once in a while he'd say yes. So my grandfather would sell a machine, like one every 4 or 5 years, there in New Harbor on Monhegan Island. And he bought a lobster boat when he moved up there, when they built their place on the shore. And he bought it not to go lobstering, because that was work, and he was supposed to be retired. So he bought the lobster boat and anchored it in the middle of New Harbor. And he would row out to it on his dory, tie his boat up, get on his lobster boat, get the folding chair, lawn chair he always kept on the boat, unfold it, put it in the back, right in the middle of the back, sit down, and watch everybody else work. And then when we came up, he'd take us on picnics. We go fishing too, you know, for like cod, mackerel, and flounder, depending on what was the idea of the day. But we go for picnics, sometimes out to Cranberry Island and get on the island. We go to this island too that we couldn't get on. It was called Seal Island, and it was only an island at low tide. At high tide, it was totally underwater. And then at low tide, the rocks would be out, it had a lot of seaweed on it, and had tons of seals swimming around there. So we'd anchor the boat, and we'd sit there on the boat and eat our picnic lunch and watch the seals, and they would watch us. They just swim over, and what are these people doing? And, you know, you ever seen seals do this thing where they're vertical in the water, and it's kind of like they're treading water, only they're doing it with their fins, you know, and they look at you, and they stretch their necks up. Their neck gets about like a third the size or something, half the size. They stretch up, and they look at you, and I don't know if you ever looked really deeply into a seal's eyes, but there's something about those eyes that makes me understand why people have told stories about seals for as long as anybody can remember. They're called Selkie stories, about seals that change into people and back again. There was a movie a few years ago, actually it's more than a few now, I'm getting older, The Secret of Roan Inish, set in Ireland, a Selkie story. But there was a guy who worked for BBC Radio and Television who loved the islands off the coast of Scotland and Ireland, where you find a lot of these stories. So he would take a vacation. He wouldn't go someplace warm. He would go to those islands and visit and collect stories. He wrote a book called The People of the Sea, which you can get from Interlibrary Loan. It's a great book if you want to read it. And it's set up with each chapter being a place that he visited. And it talks about who met him, how he got there, where they brought him, what the croft looked like. It was usually a croft. Those are like stone cottages with thatch roofs, and on the windier places you actually have lines going over, crisscrossing the roof with rocks hung on the V of the line to keep the roof from flying off, you know. And he would talk about who told the story, and then would come the story. Each chapter was one story, and this story, which is pretty short, it's one of my 2 favorites from the book that I tell. He talked about going to this croft, and it was a croft that had a loft in it where the kids slept. And the kids were sent to bed, and the storyteller was next to the peat fire in the fireplace, and they're all sitting around the adults, and he started telling the story, and the guy listened to the story, looked up, and he saw all these heads peeking through the railing of the loft of these kids. And he noticed that none of the adults were looking up, because they didn't want to catch the kids out of bed. They wanted them to hear the story. They knew that the kids got tired enough, they'd get in their bed, and they'd just listen to the story. And that's how you learn the stories, is listening to a kid up in the loft. And the story was this. It was about a seal killer and his family, actually. In these days, folks, when they hunted seals, often didn't go on a boat. They'd hunt along shore. There were so many seals, you could go along shore and you'd sneak up on them with a knife and you'd catch the seal, you'd kill it, and you'd skin it and use the skin for clothing, use it for shoes, use it to make purses out of, use the meat. It was a little bit fishy and gamey, but it was edible, and you'd eat seal meat, and you use the blubber, the fat to make candles, waterproof things, you use the bones for tools, use as much as you could. And he had a wife and a very young son. They lived in a croft right near the coast. There was a path going to the village, and there was also a path going down along a cliff to a beach. It was about 100 feet long. And they go down there to collect seaweed to put on their garden, to make the soil better. And he was off hunting one day, and their son was just beginning to walk. He was at that age, where you ever seen a toddler who's not quite sure about this walking thing? They'll take a couple steps and whoa, they'll start to lose their balance, and then maybe they'll catch themselves, or maybe they fall on their butt and they laugh and they get up and they do it again. He was practicing his walking outside. It was like a giant playpen. They had a fence with a couple gates in it, and his mom was putting the seaweed on the beds. They put the seaweed on the beds in the fall, let it sink in and till it in the spring, and she remembered, I got to take that bread out of the oven. She ran inside. It was a child-safe yard. The only thing you could get into was seaweed. And she took the bread out, and then she remembered something else she had to do. When she finally came out, she looked for her son, and she couldn't see him. And then she noticed the gate that led to the path down to the shore was open. And she ran to the path leading down to the shore, and she saw these small footprints in the mud at the top, headed down towards the shore. And she ran down the path, and she got to the beach, and she saw those prints going across the beach, getting closer and closer to the water. And then she saw the waves coming up and washing the footprints away. And she didn't see her son anywhere. And she just knelt right down in that sand, and she started to cry. She cried so hard. I don't know if you ever cried that way yourself or seen somebody do it, where you cry so hard you can't cry anymore because you lose your breath. You have to get more breath so you can cry as much as you want to. And she stopped crying to take a deep breath. And when she stopped crying, making noise, the tears were still steaming right down her cheeks. But she heard her crying keep going. It sounded like her crying was coming from a ways away, though. At the end of this beach, there was a bunch of rocks and then a smaller cove with the beach only about 20 feet wide beyond it. And it sounded like the crying was coming from there. And she walked over towards the rocks, tears streaming down her face, climbed up on the rocks, got to the top, and looked down in that small cove. And there on the sand was a mother seal and two twin seal pups. And playing with those seal pups was her son. She ran down those rocks and ran to her son, and she picked him up, and she held him just tight enough so he would know how glad she was to see him. And then she looked down at the mother seal, and the mother seal gave one of those barks that those seals do, and just kind of nodded. And the woman holding her son said, "Thank you." And the mother seal slipped off into the water, and the two pups followed her, and they swam out to sea. She brought her son home, made dinner, and her husband came back, and he hadn't gotten anything that day hunting. And when that happened, he'd take his knife and he'd just put it down next to his plate, and he'd use it to eat dinner. And while they were eating dinner, his wife told him the story about what happened that day. And when she finished, she looked down at the knife sitting next to his plate, and he picked it up. He got up out of his chair, he went over to a cupboard that had a drawer in it. He pulled out the cupboard, he put the knife in, and he closed the drawer. He never hunted seals again after that. And that's a story from Scotland. Thank you. Well, I want to thank you all for coming. I really want to thank the Council on Aging for having me, and a special thanks to the Cohasset Cultural Council who funded my visit. They do a lot of great things in town. If you know anybody on the council, say hi and say thank you, and have a great spring. Stay healthy, everybody. Thank you.